It's the South Florida Morning Show with Jennifer Ross and Bill Adams on News Talk 850 WFTL.
Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated, even though the vaccine is safe, effective, and free. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin. Get vaccinated.
And no questions. We'll take no questions. Shocker. Well, we'll leave it with a creepy thing and just say, get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Gosh. I don't know. It was far-reaching. You know, and it started to leak out. I guess they started to tell members of the press, their handpicked members of the press, what was going to be in the speech coming. So reaction was coming in hot and heavy early yesterday afternoon, to this, including from Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday.
I do not believe that people should lose their jobs over this issue, and we will fight that. How could we get to the point in the country where you would want to have someone lose their job because of their choice about the vaccine or not?
How many state attorneys general are running to courthouses today? We're working overnight to try to see what they could do in their state constitutions to try to fight this. How many, and in fact, how many were ready to fight this thing, and how many are just right on board with it, ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they had to know that this was kind of on, the docket, if you will.
I think DeSantis did. He said the other day, he was talking about, it was weird because it seemed to come out of nowhere, and now it makes sense. He was talking about resisting big corporations forcing their employees to do this. I think he got, a scent in the wind that this was coming down from above.
Yeah, I think this is obviously something that's been in the works, through Biden's advisors and everything like that. So, people like DeSantis, they hear through the grapevine that these things might be coming down the pike, and now here we are. I mean, we're in for a huge fight, Bill. We are in for a huge fight between local governments, state governments, federal government, employers and employees. It's not going to be pretty. I mean, you're going to have lawsuits everywhere.
Sure.
It's going to get ugly. And then what's going to happen is through the resistance, because naturally people will just resist. That's just human nature. But because of that, that's going to create more government overreach, more mandates, and it's just, I don't know when it's going to come to a head, but it's just going to keep going and going.
When he's saying things like this, here's the patience part again.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
Now, consider that and factor that in when 3 weeks, month, 2 weeks, however long it is, down the road when people start to resist, and then factor this in.
These governors won't help us beat the pandemic. I'll use my power as president to get them out of the way.
They kind of want this fight. I think this administration kind of wants this so they can turn it around and say, see, they're killing people.
Right.
This is why we have power. This is why we need these mandates.
And you see, and it's funny because I always, and you and I both do the same thing. We look at different publications or news channels to see how they're framing different stories. And I look up at one of our monitors here, and they have on the Today Show, and they say vaccine mandates and the push to end the pandemic.
Right.
So that's the way they're framing it, which is basically screw your freedoms. This is the push to end the pandemic, so we're going to force you to do this. And we've said it a million times, but it's worth saying again, because if you haven't heard us said it, we all got the vaccine here because we were on board with that. We felt like it was the right thing to do for ourselves and for our families. And maybe it is the thing that ends the pandemic. I don't know. But you can't say, screw your freedoms, we're going to force you to do something against your own will. You just can't do that. No matter what it is.
You can't, you're right, Diener, even if it is effective. And by the way, the South Florida Morning Show, Jen's back on Monday. There's Diener on Bill. You can't, at the cost of what? At what cost is it really? You can't, you're never going to get freedoms back if you do this. And there will be a resistance. There will be a push against this. It'll probably be tried in court, even after the fact, even if we don't even have this virus anymore. This will be tried in courts down the road. It'll be taught in law schools because it's a huge, massive government overreach. And maybe the scariest thing of all, what he said yesterday?
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
Yeah, it is.
But you know what's scary?
That's the problem.
The problem with that, Bill, is you're going to have people hear that and agree with him.
Oh, listen, this half the country agrees with, is applauding this morning because they don't understand or don't care or whatever it is. You've had several celebrities this week, which, by the way, now I think is by design. It was Howard Stern. I think it was last week Schwarzenegger. Both said the same thing, and it was F your freedom.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
That's the memo.
I'll never throw my freedom aside for anything. I don't care what it is. By the way, Karen reminded me of this last time. She was putting things in perspective and just comparing numbers and really how does this pandemic, compare to other things and rates. You want perspective? At the very same time and the very same day, Kamala Harris happened to be talking to, and this happened to be about the Texas abortion bill and all that other stuff that happened. So she was with a bunch of Roe v. Wade supporters, and she reiterated the administration's support of that. But take this statement and now apply it to what we just heard from the announcement from the administration yesterday, okay? Just keep this in mind.
And the right of women to make decisions for themselves with whomever they choose about their own bodies.
Except for vaccines.
Yeah. Well,
Where's that?
There's that.
I mean, where is that? Apparently, it doesn't. They pick and choose.
Hypocrites.
Either you have a right over your own body or you don't. So which is it?
Contradictions, hypocrites. That's what they are, and they always will be. They are just complete hypocrites. They go with the wind. Whatever's convenient for them is how it's going to work. Because let's face it, okay. And I know this is a whole rabbit hole by itself, but you want to have mandates for vaccines for American citizens. What about all the illegals who have come over? You're talking
doesn't matter.
Millions.
Nope. It's always a crackdown on law-abiding Americans.
So they're just
it isn't anybody
fine.
else. It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
All right, let's get to some good news, shall
Please.
we? At least the NFL season's underway.
Yes.
Kicked off last night. Congratulations, Tampa Bay Bucks. They raised their banner. Can I be honest? Wasn't happy with the banner.
It was very lame.
Little lame.
Yeah.
Little lame. But that's okay. It's still a championship.
No, it is. The celebration was lame. It was just kind of like on a poster on the side of the stadium.
Yeah, a little weak.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well,
congrats to him. Everybody's happy about the NFL season opening up.
Suck up trying to win it.
And did.
Sure did.
Bucks get a win. It was a great game. I don't know why I stayed up. I watched the entire thing.
Good for you. I had to
I
go
was
to bed
just
at
so
halftime.
happy to have a real game on. It was just great.
And it was a great game.
My other observation there, sports director Diener.
Yes.
I thought it last year, and now I'm convinced because I saw it happen on the field last night. Tom Brady is running that offense. He is the offensive coordinator.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
And I think it happened more than twice. I only happened to see it twice. He literally looked over. He got the call in his headset from Byron Leftwich, the real offensive coordinator.
Right.
And he shook him off.
He does, yeah.
And he said no. He shook his head no.
You never
He's
see
running
that.
the offense.
Yeah.
He should get offensive coordinator of the year. He should be up for that award.
That's right. Assistant coach of the year, Tom Brady.
I'm telling you. Here was Brady after the game.
Very sound defense. They have a lot of good players on defense, so it's a good team. We're going to have to, we obviously got a lot to clean up.
I thought to myself after that game, I have spent, just out of pure blind fandom, my entire adult life hating on Tom Brady.
Right.
I can't do it anymore. All I can do is marvel at the guy. He's 44 years old. He's out there slinging it better than 90% of the other quarterbacks. They're for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns last night.
This is all I asked for 20 years when he was with the Pats, and now I hate you people.
Yeah.
I hate you because you don't hate him anymore.
That's right. I can't do it anymore. I could just shake my head and be like, how's this guy doing this?
That's incredible. Throwing
real.
dimes.
I know. I'm sorry.
All right. Anyway, good NFL. We got some college football to talk about next, too. And we have a new thing. We're going to make some Friday picks, apparently.
Yes.
We're very excited about this.
That's right. Those are coming up.
Just trying to distract ourselves from the Biden announcement yesterday.
Gotta
But we'll
do
cover
something.
that, too, coming up next. And it's almost time to get you some money with Diener's code word announcement coming up here in a couple of minutes, too. It's the South Florida Morning Show. Jen's back on Monday. There's Diener. I'm Bill. Keep it here. Whew. A lot of stuff happening this morning and from yesterday, but we got rapid fire coming up at 7:30. Karen, what you starting with?
The vaccine extortion continues. Delta employees, a lot of them getting a vaccination because they were about to pay $200 more a month in health insurance, a surcharge. So their chief officer says that 4,000 of the 20,000 unvaccinated have gotten vaccines since that went into effect on November 1st, and no reports of any employee turnover. So my question is, with Biden saying that companies with 100 or more,
Right.
100 or less,
Right.
100 or more, have to give vaccine. So does that mean, if you're a Burger King corporation, that means all the Burger Kings, or does that mean each individual franchise? Like our company, Hubbard, has more than 100 employees, but our cluster here, I don't think we have 100. I'm vaccinated.
It's how you're listed. So like your franchisee example, if you have like several, fast food joints, but all together you've got 98 employees, but you're part of the, because a lot of them own a bunch of locations. You're your own private like LLC or whatever. So that's how that would be.
So that's interesting.
But Delta, would it be each plane? Right. Or would it be the whole company, Delta?
Whole company. Because now you've got, so the Delta thing, United, why is it that the airline industry has been the most, severe to crack down on people? I don't know why. United yesterday said, you'll be on leave if you don't get vaccinated. You just put on leave. But the difference being, if you have it for a religious reason, you're not going to get paid. For a health reason, you'll still get paid on leave. Does that not sound like a Supreme Court case?
That's a huge.
How do you do that?
My gosh.
And that was United Airlines.
That's right.
Well, I think 136 children between the ages of 0 and 4 have died from COVID in its entirety. God bless all their souls. But I think maybe that's the number of children shot and killed in Chicago alone.
Well, you're not kidding. You're right. And it's like, all life matters. It's true. But putting this in perspective, nobody talks about the gun violence of kids in the weekend there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that more coming up on Rapid Fire, but I promise you Rapid Fire will be a wheels-off hilarity.
We'll try.
Yeah.
We will have some lighter stuff,
That's
we
right.
promise. We always try to balance it out. Thanks, Karen. You do a great job with that. 10 minutes away from Rapid Fire, by the way. Stick around for that. The South Florida Morning Show. Jen is back on Monday. There's Diener. I'm Bill. And, it's funny that Karen brings up Diener, the employee requirement and the bottom line number there. It was almost as if collectively as a nation, I can't tell you how many posts I saw about this. People were saying, well, there you go. Small businesses cutting down to 99. Or you'll cap it off at 99.
I know, you're right.
But my second thought on this was, okay, but then they're just going to lower this down to 50 employees.
That's right.
Or 40 or 20 or 10 or anybody. And then it'll just be all Americans.
Correct.
Or what's the consequence? Or you can't function in society. Despite the fact that they said they would never get to this, right? They would never divide the nation and create this secondary class type citizen in some kind of caste system and treat them like lepers. But it's exactly what they're doing.
That's what, they said they wouldn't. And then that was just a few months ago, too. They said that they weren't going to do this, and it wasn't the role of the federal government.
Well, yeah. Remember this? You're right. A couple of months ago, Biden saying, no, it wouldn't be mandatory.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory.
How about Jen Psaki?
One, that's not the role of the federal government. That is the role that institutions, private sector entities, and others may take. That certainly is appropriate.
That wasn't long ago.
Well, that changed real quick, though, didn't it? And this is what we try to tell people, and people criticize us and say, oh, you're just being conspiracy theorists, oh, you're exaggerating. No, like we've been saying this was going to happen for at least 6 months, and this is not the end of it. This is a starting point. This is them setting the table. When you have big names like Howard Stern and Arnold Schwarzenegger coming out within the past couple weeks with what now seems like a directive, like a memo that they
does.
get.
I was with you. I looked at that too, and I'm like, why are all these celebrities all of a sudden say, blank your freedoms?
And they're saying that
almost
now.
on script.
And then you have Biden say it yesterday, not bleep your freedom, but saying this isn't about freedom anymore. This is about protecting each other. So now we're setting the table. We are putting that thought in people's minds to say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Freedom doesn't matter here. Let's just make sure we get through all this. And then it goes on from there, and more. They take away more freedoms. And it's as simple as that.
You can't be a conspiracy theorist when it comes to your freedom because you always have to be a watchdog from it. It's very, very close to slipping away. It's you can lose it. You don't get it back. You have to protect against this. You have to.
Australia admitted to a new world order.
Grab that sound you had saved. It's truly amazing.
It's unbelievable.
And this is from a couple of days ago. We were talking about it off the air. We're like, they're saying it out loud now.
Right.
But it's true because this I would say, I guess, went viral yesterday. Everybody was reposting this. This is Australia's public health chief. That's her position. Her public health chief answering questions and saying the scary part out loud now.
Will they be listed once we are reopening? Because they're not at the moment. We will be
looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order.
What?
And yes, it will be pubs and clubs and other things if we have a positive case there.
She said,
gosh.
she said the New World Order.
This has been something that, I mean, has been a conspiracy theory for decades about the New World Order, and now they're just saying it.
Like, didn't bat an eye.
My gosh.
Like, I think it was about 4 months ago, Justin Trudeau of Canada called it the Great Reset.
Like, people are just okay with this?
That's why people are concerned. And don't criticize them for being concerned, because you hear stuff like that, it's very scary.
Do you see where we're coming from now?
Oh, boy.
Gosh. Just be careful.
Yes, please be careful. Whatever. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's a legal fight now. I don't know. We'll see where that goes from here. In the meantime, we talked about this. The NFL is back.
Hey.
Kicked off the season last night. Bucks raised their banner. And we're starting something off, too.
Yes.
I don't know when we're going to do it.
Maybe
Still don't know
during
exactly
rapid
how
fire?
to do it.
I don't know.
I don't even have some sound for this, but we have a new segment. We're going to start to make some Friday picks. Normally, I think would be what? In a normal day in the 9 o'clock hour?
Yeah, probably.
Is that when we're doing this?
Yeah, like 9:30-ish normally.
Are you getting a feel for how our production meetings go? We ask a bunch of questions and no answers come from it. We're like,
That's
you
right.
want to do that? Yeah, I don't know. You want to do that? Okay, you want to get lunch? Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And nothing gets done.
Yeah, then we see how it goes.
That's pretty much how we roll.
But this will be fun.
It's going to be very fun. I like it. So Diener has come up with a bunch of things on the slate, college games and NFL games. We're not doing like points, are we?
No.
And going against the spread and
Right. So the way we decided to make this easy, we take 2 NFL games, 2 college games. I look at the spread and I say, okay, the spread here is 3, 4, 5 points, sometimes 2.
Yeah.
That way we know, okay, this is going to be a close matchup, and then we just pick the game straight up, since it's a kind of a lower spread. So we picked predetermined games. We all pick from the same pool: 2 NFL games, 2 college games. And the wild card game is where we can separate our records. So we'll each pick 5 games, and I put 4 wild card games in there, so that way we can each pick one.
I like it.
Hopefully we each pick a different wild card game, and that way
like
we're
this.
not, tying with the same record every week.
And then we lay thousands of dollars
Yes.
on the line here in the studio.
It can be fun, yeah.
I don't have any gambling music, so I just
What?
We're kidding for entertainment purposes only.
So something tells me, by the way, that Jen is going to win this by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, because she'll
Right?
go by uniforms and
Yes.
which quarterback is cuter. I know exactly how this is
I'm
going to
come in last. That's what's going to happen.
Anyway, when are we even doing this today? 8 o'clock hour sometime?
Yeah, maybe like 8:33-ish.
All right.
We can try that.
Because at 9 o'clock, another programming note, we have something special coming up. Let's not, we love to talk about the weekend. Let's not forget tomorrow, the 20th anniversary of 9/11/01. So we have a special segment coming up for the 9 o'clock hour and where everybody was then. So don't forget about that. Next, get Rapid Fire at 7:30. Karen's got all the news, and there's a lot of it. We all chime in, too. Stick around for that. Couple of minutes away. It's the South Florida Morning Show. Jen's back on Monday. There's Diener. I'm Bill. And
It's 7:30. Time for Jen and Bill's Rapid Fire with Karen Curtis on News Talk 850 WFTL.
we love Rapid Fire. Count the red flags on this one. It's Friday. Very excited about this. Even though Jen's not here today, three quarters of us will still get it done, Karen. What's happening here? A lot in the news, a lot of it serious. We'll try to lighten it up, too.
By the way, my low tire icon went off in my car, and I had to fill my tires with air yesterday.
Really?
So we are set to go.
Uh-oh.
Yep, we're fully inflated, Bill.
Well, we usually start Rapid Fire with one wheel off already on a Friday, so...
We're missing a wheel.
Yeah, I know. We're
fourth
missing
wheel.
Jen wheel.
Yeah. All right, so speaking of the third wheel.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you.
Those are the scariest words in my lifetime I've ever heard a president say.
Yes.
It's always about freedom and personal choice. We're Americans.
But his patience is wearing thin.
Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated, even though the vaccine is safe, effective, and free. Get vaccinated.
Oh.
I am.
I had to take that little line there and just isolate it. Listen.
Get vaccinated.
How creepy is that?
Scary. I'm sorry. Criticize me all you want. I don't care, whatever it is. But our patience is wearing thin. Those are the words of a dictator. I'm sorry. They are.
Yeah, well, so as a result, he's like your dad. I'm getting a little annoyed with you. Now, as a result, his new pandemic plan includes vaccine mandates for federal workers, companies with 100-plus workers. So
I mean,
govern yourself appropriately.
Well, yeah. And now you will have a lot of smaller, medium-sized companies capping it at 99. But the problem is that 99 is going to turn into 50, and then 40, and 20, and then it's just everybody's going to be required to get this vaccine, even if you have a health condition that won't allow you to, or you're not going to be able to function in society. This is where we are now.
But not unless the heavy D gets in the way.
How could we get to the point in the country where you would want to have someone lose their job because of their choice about the vaccine or not?
And Biden says you need to get out of the way, Ron DeSantis. You're in my way, and I'm going to stop you from being in my... I wonder what he's going to do with Ron DeSantis.
Exactly does that mean?
I
We
don't
talk
know.
about a federal overreach, telling states,
threatening.
governors of states that they're in the way and we'll just supersede you. This is not the way it's supposed to be.
Governor DeSantis is trying to let parents have a choice whether or not their kids should be vaccinated. Again, I say from the CDC, they have children 0 to 4, 135 deaths from COVID in its entirety. Wow. God bless those souls, but that's 0.0% of the population.
Right, exactly.
So, but they're all wearing masks in school, and then they're not wearing masks at football games. But now he wants everyone to show vaccination at football games. You know how long it would take to get into a stadium to prove you're vaccinated?
Well, but more importantly, it goes back once again to something that they lied about. Well, we will never require vax passports, or it's not the federal government's job to issue mandates. Well, that wasn't that long ago they were saying that. Look at where we are now. Our patience is wearing thin.
Well, an ESPN reporter, Allison Williams, she's not going to be reporting from the college football sidelines. She's not getting vaccinated because she's trying to have a second baby. And her fertility specialist says, don't get it. Ugh.
So what are they saying, though? Like, what are the numbers they're saying? It's like a little over 25% of the U.S. population not vaccinated?
80 million people.
Is that where we are? You're basically going to treat... And not everybody can get it. There are a lot of people that have medical reasons for not getting this thing.
They're allergic to it.
So all of a sudden you got to treat them like lepers? They can't function anywhere? And by the way, what's his whole thing about protecting... one of his lines was, we're going to protect the vaccinated against the unvaccinated. It kind of defeats the purpose of what you sold the vax on.
Yeah,
if it works well, you shouldn't worry.
Right.
I'm so confused.
And again, that sounds like a threat.
It does.
What are you doing to protect? Does that mean you're going to be separating vaccinated from unvaccinated people?
I'm very, very tired of this administration, and there's a lot of them in it making threats. Tired of it.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are. Hey, that tiki hut there at E.R. Bradley's went up in flames yesterday, and then
That's dangerous.
Caught the other one on fire. It's all put out, and the restaurant will be open today. No one hurt.
Do they know what caused it?
No, they're investigating that one.
Man.
Also, putting this into perspective in terms of deaths, we have...
Let me see your hands. Hands up.
Almost a kilo of fentanyl, and we know based on DEA, a kilo can kill up to 500,000 people.
That's the Flagler County Sheriff, Rick Staley. He says deputies seized enough fentanyl to kill 500,000 people yesterday. By the way, COVID has killed 600,000 Americans.
But it's here. Drugs designed to kill people are here. That's a Florida sheriff. This is why the southern border is a national issue, and it's important to everybody.
That's right. He says, look, these two people in the house where they found the fentanyl have been arrested, but they think it's from a Mexican cartel.
Ah, okay.
Because they found some in Marin County.
About 2.5 months ago, Marin County in Ocala recovered a number of kilos stamped with the drug cartel out of Mexico.
And this has the same color and consistency as that batch. But this is the most poignant part of what he said yesterday.
We arrest them, courts let them out. We arrest them, courts slap them on the hand. It's frustrating for us. It's frustrating for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's not good. We're protecting the bad people.
I mean, you just touch that fentanyl, it can kill you. It's
sure.
a scary thing. So coming up on Rapid Fire, never give Tom Brady the ball with a minute and change.
I knew it was over.
On the clock. You went to bed.
I was about to, but I'm like, well, it's minute 49 left. I'm up to midnight anyway. Might as well watch the rest.
Might as well see the magic.
I've seen this too many times.
Yeah. So time for your 850 WFTL traffic and weather together. We have a turnpike wreck northbound at Glades Road, another one at Lantana Road and Jog, and then northbound 95 and 45th Street reports of an accident that had blocked two right lanes. Just stay to the left. I think it's off on the shoulder now. Your WPTV First Alert weather. We're going to be hot again. Highs in the low 90s. 20% chance of rain for today and tomorrow. So lots of sunshine, good beach weather. But it's going to be hot, so be careful and make sure you drink your fluids. Currently, it is partly cloudy, 77 degrees in the Palm Beaches. Areas of concern in the tropics. We're keeping an eye on potential Nicholas and Odette. Haven't formed yet, but there's some blobs. One off the coast of Africa, the other in the Bay of Campeche. That wraps up the weather.
Whoa,
No,
my
God, up in heaven, hallowed would be thy name. All right, back to Rapid Fire View.
Nice.
Do you have a fancy dinner date this weekend? You got something you need to look good for? Maybe you just have a bunch of clothes piled up in the closet? No more. Contact Ozo2 Eco Dry Cleaners. Free pickup and delivery? That's awesome. Contact them, ozo2usa.com.
I do. They did my sheets. So instead of being a big ball, they were all pressed, and oh my God, it was lovely.
What's your thread count?
The 300.
Egyptian?
Right. Egyptian?
No, the 1,000, no.
Oh, okay.
I put that on my wedding registry, and people laughed at me. Anywho.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
George W. Bush, he did that off the cuff. He wasn't scripted.
He was really, really good off the script. He really was. As much as, well, I know I criticize him, that was his finest moment, I think.
It was.
He was very good amongst the people.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. And then when he went out and threw that pitch out at the baseball game, I was so scared for him.
That was a great sports moment, though.
It
really was.
And he did a good job.
Yeah.
So don't miss our 9/11 20 Years Later special. It airs at 9 this morning. And it features Joyce and Bill and Jen and where everybody was on that fateful day. If you are over 30 years old, you remember.
No doubt about it.
You know,
but for little kids, though, they have no clue about this. You can't leave it up to schools to make sure that they remember and they teach the lessons of this. There are some school districts that won't even teach about it.
No.
So you gotta make sure they know. I did a Cool Dad Rules podcast that's up right now about this. And I guess, I talked to a lady from a group called American Moms, and she had a great idea. She said there's so much content with documentaries out now, you can actually make it age appropriate.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So the real little kids, just focus on the first responders. Later on in teenagers, you can talk about the terrorist attack and all that other stuff.
Right.
But you do have to make it age appropriate, though, because you could scare the life out of little kids.
Well, my 27-year-old daughter called me crying because she watched the documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't know. She was 7 at the time.
She was 7, right.
So, you're going to talk to a paramedic who worked at Ground Zero in New York after the towers fell at 8:03. So we'll get her perspective. She's actually in Louisiana helping the Hurricane Ida people. Moving on. So a tree fell onto a Florida home, causing hundreds of bees to
I was going to say, that sounds either like a Formula One race or bees. I wasn't sure what that was at first.
Is that Monte Carlo?
Both Italian.
Oh.
Yes. Florida sheriffs say that this he's a sheriff and he's a beekeeper.
Well, there you go.
How cool is that? So he came to the rescue in Volusia County. So this large tree filled with a nest of Italian honeybees. So how do they know they're Italian honeybees?
They have little mustaches?
Yeah, and
like
they're riding
Mario?
like Vespas with a...
Because they pollinate with their hands. They're like, what are you doing now?
They have a hammer.
My automobile.
Ciao.
Jen would be screaming at us right now for all the Italian stereotypes. I'm part Italian, though, so I can say. That's
Oh, my goodness. So... How did they know? So
they eat lasagna.
Apparently, apparently they were agitated. Maybe they're mafia bees.
Well, maybe. They're putting out a hit.
And they were stinging anyone who approached the house. There you go.
Yes.
I'm still fascinated by sheriff/beekeeper.
Got a lot going on.
It's like, I got to call out the beekeeper.
And
wait a minute, aren't you the sheriff? Yeah.
He donned his beekeeping gear. My grandfather was the sheriff and the judge of Leroy in Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
I love towns like that.
Yeah, he was everything. And this guy, in his beekeeping getup, lured half the insects to his hive. He has a hive. And then the others flew to a nearby tree. So you got a bunch of Italian bees in a tree in Volusia County.
Isn't that a big deal for the beekeeper to get the queen if they come out to get you the thing? Because it's worth a lot of money to them.
He said he wasn't dressed appropriately, so he said, no, I can't.
Oh, no. Yes.
Oh,
really?
Boy.
State
went
Farm commercial reference.
I get all my third grade humor from TV commercials.
Fantastic.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think in tight ball games, we have a ton of confidence, but for me, just don't put ourselves in that situation.
Does he know what team he coaches?
No, there's the coach most fun to party with, Bruce Arians, with that weird thing that he has strapped to his body.
He looks like Darth Vader, and I'm convinced that is not the recall button thing. I'm convinced it's a satellite radio, and he's listening to Yacht Rock.
I think so.
In his headphones, because every time they pan to that guy, I'm sorry, he looks clueless, like he doesn't know what's going on. Here's my other observation that I'm convinced of. I thought it last year, and it confirmed last night. Tom Brady is the offensive coordinator of that team.
Yes.
He gets the call on his headset. He looks at Byron Leftwich, and he goes, no. I saw it twice.
Yeah, it happened last night.
No.
No, we're not playing that.
No, we're ruled. Yeah, Tom Brady fell in Bruce Arians' lap.
Oh, God. He fell in all of Tampa's lap.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Cowboys gave him a minute and change, and Ryan Suckup kicked a field goal, and they beat him.
Some great names in that game last night, by the way. I don't know if anybody caught this. The punter for Dallas.
Yeah.
His last name is Anger.
Anger.
Gosh.
I love it.
It's not a very good name for a punter, though. I feel like that should have been a linebacker.
And we got Suckup, the kicker for Tampa.
I love that.
What a Suckup.
And Tom, the GOAT, says, hey, we still have a lot of work to do.
Very sound defense. They have a lot of good players on defense, so it's a good team. We're going to have to, we obviously got a lot to clean up.
Brady's throwing dimes like right away. Just clinical. It was outstanding.
gosh.
Dallas looked good. Little Dak.
Yeah, you know what? They did look good. I would be happy if I was a Cowboys fan, except for some dumb mistakes.
I really do think Dallas was going to have a good year this year. I just thought they were going to lose by double digits last night, but they impressed me. I think think they're going to win that division.
By the way, good news for the Over Club.
Yeah.
Remember you talked about the line? Yes, Dina was talking about the line. I'm like, that seems high. Nope, Vegas was right again.
Oh, no, yeah.
0-2, baby. I'm on a streak.
31-29. If I do the math, it's what?
60 points.
There you go.
Wow.
I had my Canes pick last week, and they got throttled. And then I went 0-2 last night in the Buccaneers.
Oh, good. Please pick the Dolphins for Sunday.
Oh, let's go. Let's do this.
I'm picking the Patriots.
I'm abstaining. I don't bet for or against the Pats.
Oh, my.
By the way, Karen, coming up sometime in the 8 o'clock hour.
Yes.
We're doing our picks. This is a new segment on the show.
I love it.
College and pros.
Just letting you know, Iowa State is 8 and Iowa is 9, so, it's a close call.
That game is a toss-up.
Good matchup.
It is.
Yeah. By the way, the U.S. Open, I know we're way over, but I'm just going to say I think this little 19-year-old Leylah Fernandez is going to beat the 18-year-old Emma Raducanu. Is that how you say her name?
I think you nailed it.
Oh, good.
Who's going to question you?
Okay, and I think that Zverev is not going to beat Djokovic. I think Djokovic is going to get the Grand Slam. Okay?
Nice.
All right, that wraps up Rapid Fire. Bill, what great radio is coming up next?
Well, we got to go over, almost like we're going over the NFL game last night. We're going to go over point by point the Biden announcement and what it means, Governor Ron DeSantis's, reaction to that, and the legal challenges, whatever. We'll also get to this. As a way for you to make money watching horror movies, Diener.
Oh, boy. Okay.
We're setting you up.
Oh, boy. Not good for me.
The South Florida Morning Show. Jen's back on Monday. There's Diener and Bill. Keep it here. Thank you so much, Kati. Appreciate you. The South Florida Morning Show. Jen is at home. She will be back on Monday. There's Diener on Bill. Karen's next news coming up in about 10 and a half minutes. By the way, but we have heard from Jen.
Yes.
She's totally fine, but she has texted in her picks. At some point in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to give you our weekend picks, college and pros, and she texted in hers?
She did, yeah.
We're good?
She just got back to me. We have everything from her. She texted from horseback.
Okay.
And she picked it right there while, riding the pony around.
It's one thing if she wins our football pool. If she wins while doing it on horseback.
Yes, that's right.
Forget it. We'll kill this segment. We'll never do picks again.
I'm telling you right now. I'm calling it right now on the first week of our picks. She is going to win this by the end of the year.
Probably.
Yes.
I wouldn't surprise me.
I think so.
All right, in the meantime, in the news department of things, well, this is the big announcement yesterday. Shockwaves throughout.
I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated.
Really, just getting a feel for, that's one thing, but getting a feel for how the nation reacts to this so far. Most people really, honestly, are making most comments on social media about the tone of the thing. It was very threatening.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
And this.
These governors won't help us beat the pandemic. I'll use my power as president to get them out of the way.
What does it mean? Why don't you define what it means to get a governor out of the way?
There's a lot of threats there, and I was calling them kind of vague or veiled threats. They're not even that. They're just direct threats.
Yeah, they weren't very veiled. You're right. He's vaguely threatened things before, but that's not. That's not even veiled. And yet still left out a lot of the details. Even with this, okay, companies are mandated 100 employees or more to make sure their employees are vaccinated, or what? Then is it left up to the companies to have the consequence, or what?
That's what I'm starting to wonder is where do we go from here? Is it, okay, the companies don't follow the rules, then there's some type of government sanctions against them, or the companies are following the rules, then they have a bunch of people quit who still aren't getting vaccinated, and then you have Biden say, our patience is running thin with you. Excuse me? So what's going to happen when you run out of patients? Because right now it's running thin, so they've taken another measure and having federally mandated vaccines for companies.
The only world leaders I've ever heard say our patience is wearing thin are dictators. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Send all your hate mail to me. I don't care.
Oh, you're
That's
right,
exactly what that was. That was just a dictator's presence up there yesterday.
It was, and you made a great point earlier when you said he's talking more tough to American citizens over vaccines than he is to terrorists, the Taliban, ISIS-K over there, and the resurgence of Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, where we gave them a country and a safe haven and our weapons, billions of dollars of worth. He's talking tougher to us,
but
making threats to us and refuses to make threats to them. Instead, he praised them, saying, oh, they're helping us out over there. I mean, God, I have to stop myself. I'm getting really angry about it.
It's what it is, though. But you're not alone, Dean or Everett. There's a lot of anger about this. Now, I don't know what the pushback is going to be. Whether it's going to come from private companies or people are just going to, resist this. I don't know. But you're talking about, at the end of the day, American citizens here who, for whatever reason, either by personal choice or, let's not forget this because they seem to want to forget it, there are a lot of people for health reasons cannot get this vaccine. Yeah. I don't know what the percentage of the population is. I'm not sure, but there are a lot of people like that.
It's true.
And all of a sudden, you're going to treat them like lepers. They're not going to be able to work. They can't shop. They can't fly. They can't go to entertainment venues. They promised all along, right after the inauguration, they promised they wouldn't divide and they wouldn't create this second-class group of citizens over vaccination statuses. In fact, he even said this.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory.
That was just a couple of months ago.
I think that was
and
like
now
midsummer.
Here we are. So this is why you're not a conspiracy theorist and you're not crazy if you're afraid of what the next step is. You've got to be aware of this. Always be aware and vigilant of your freedoms because these people, man, they would take a lot away from you if they could. They really could, and it's a power grab. And the other half of this is 50% of it is a massive federal overreach. The other 50% is so incredibly desperate to stop talking about Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It took this kind of a measure. Because no one is talking about that in mainstream media today. Nobody.
And it's 20 years since 9/11. And what are we doing? We're talking about threats to American citizens if they don't get a vaccine.
Unbelievable. I don't know if we ran out of time on this or not, but we're going to have to tease it anyway, Diener.
We still have 1 minute.
We've got an opportunity for you.
Yes.
We're going to test Diener's fortitude because you're not big on. Remember last Halloween, or maybe 2 years ago, it must have been. We sent you through the horror show, the Creep Show house.
Yes,
at Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, it was Fright Nights here at
the
fairgrounds. Yeah,
this is an opportunity for you to make. Are you ready?
Oh no,
$1,300.
Okay.
All you have to do is watch 13 horror movies.
Oh geez.
Saw.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I've seen the first 2 or 3.
What this music is from, Amityville Horror.
Oh, is that where it's from?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually have seen that.
Oh, you've seen a lot of these. This would be easy then.
Okay, so far so good.
A Quiet Place.
Love that movie.
Oh, well, this is... You're supposed to be afraid of this. You're not afraid.
Quiet Place isn't really horror, though. It's more suspense.
Way to ruin the bit burglar.
I'm sorry.
How about Blair Witch?
Okay, that I will not watch.
Get Out.
It's very scary.
Paranormal Activity.
No, gosh, no. See, now you've hit a note.
How about Annabelle?
Oh, no.
Come on.
Never. I will never watch that movie because it's real.
Website called Finance Buzz looking for somebody to watch 13 horror movies. They'll pay you $1,300 to do it. They'll send you a Fitbit to wear so you can monitor your heartbeat to see how scared you get.
Oh, gosh. So that's the thing. I've actually seen a lot of horror movies, but I'll never watch Annabelle. I'll never watch The Ring. I'll never watch
$1,300.
No.
In a row.
Not doing it.
Come on.
I'm gonna get cursed.
I know.
No.
Anyway, if anybody's interested, it's Finance Buzz. Look them up on Google. Hey, coming up next, very special. Let's not forget. Of course, we're looking forward to the weekend, but we always must remember 9/11. It's been 20 years. 20 years. Next, we're going to talk to a first responder who was on the scene of that fateful day, Dr. Allison Thompson. Get her feel for exactly what that was like. It's coming up next. The South Florida Morning Show. Jen's coming in on Monday. She'll be back. There's Diener on Bill. Keep it here.